Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to week 2 of the Shane and Grooms College Pick'em Show. We're again located here on the set of Unlimited Sports, and we're excited to bring this show to you today. Shane, let's talk about the Heisman hopefuls again that we mentioned last week. How do you think they did this past week, and where do you see them going forward?
Again, I like Todd Gurley from Georgia. He had a great game against Clemson. He didn't get touched ball that much in the first half, but when he did touch it, he did big things for the Dogs. I think he had 298 all-purpose yards in that game with a kickoff return and 198 rushing yards with 4 TDs. I think right now he's at the lead of the Heisman race.
You know, I concur with that, Shane. I thought Todd Gurley had an amazing game. And what was so crazy about that game is he did all that damage on the ground with 15 rushing attempts. That's production at its finest. I thought he really gave Georgia a spark with that 100-yard kickoff return. And, I mean, he's just a man amongst boys right now. I think he's on a whole nother level. He's really an NFL player right now playing in college. I love the Gurley kid. If he stays healthy, he's my front runner going into the end of the season.
And another guy who had a big week was Kenny Hill from Texas A&M, the quarterback, came in for Johnny Manziel.
Man, he was explosive. I can't imagine that kid having a better game than he had that game. And talking to some friends of mine, I know he went into a hostile environment. It was his first start on the road, replacing somewhat of a legend now in Johnny football, and he made every throw look great. It's going to be interesting to see if he can keep up that production. I give him a lot of props for his performance, and right now he's slightly behind Gurley, but he's right there with him.
He broke records.
He did.
Broke Johnny's records.
He did. He broke records.
Start.
Yep.
Another guy who I think didn't have a great week, but I think he'll be there in New York is Jameis Winston. You can't put out the last year's Heisman winner and leader of the national champions. He didn't have a great week against Oklahoma State, but I think he'll continue to get better when he gets more chemistry with those wide receivers.
Yeah, I thought Jameis had an average game. I don't think he really helped his cause as far as a Heisman hopeful, but I'm with you. I think he bounces back. I thought he was pressing a little bit, maybe forcing some balls in some places he probably shouldn't. They didn't have a run game at all, so he had to throw 40 times to make things happen. And at the end of the day, he did complete over 60% of his passes and threw for over 350 yards. I think he will play better. He's going to have to play better to win the Heisman this year.
I think so too. So it's time to get to this week's top 25 pick'ems. First week we had number 1 ranked Florida State. They'll be hosting Citadel.
Wow. I mean, poor Citadel. I think Florida State is going to kill this team. I think they're going to be playing with the attitude. I think they're going to be a little mad at their performance last week. I feel sorry for Citadel. I got a lot of respect for Citadel because they're a military school, and I like what they stand for. But wow, this is going to be an embarrassment.
I think so too. Florida State, Jameis Winston. I think people were doubting them this year because of their performance last week against Oklahoma State, and I think they're just going to pile it on. Maybe I got them winning by 35.
At least. I would be surprised if Jameis Winston plays into the third quarter of this game. I mean, I'd be very surprised if he plays into the third quarter.
Now on number 2nd ranked Alabama, they'll be hosting Florida Atlantic.
Another blowout. I think this game will be a little bit closer than the Citadel Florida State game. Florida Atlantic does have a little bit of pride. I think they'll come out and play Alabama hard for a little while, but I do see Alabama also playing with a chip on their shoulder because I didn't think they played very well last week also. They'll come out and be ready to play. I know Saban's been in their tails all week, saying that they haven't done anything yet. They haven't arrived, and he's probably really putting a lot of pressure on some guys that are stepping in this year. So I think they'll come out and play very well.
I think Alabama also blows this game out, but I don't think Alabama gets back to that top level that they were at the past couple of years until they figure out that quarterback situation.
Yeah, they got to figure out the quarter, but they have a few games to figure that out. before they get to the meat of their SEC schedule. I think that they're still a little. Let's see what's going to happen. I think Coker will play a lot in this game also, so we'll see what happens.
All right, and I got Alabama winning that one by 35 also.
I think they win that by 35 or more. I agree with you.
Now, number 3rd ranked Oregon, they'll be hosting number 7th ranked Michigan State. This will be the college game game of this week.
You know, this is a tough game. I really like Michigan State. I love the way they've been playing the last couple of years. I think they play extremely hard. They're a physical team. I think they play a lot like the SEC teams play. I know we're a little bit biased to the SEC. We're both that's who we're both fans of. Me being an Auburn, you Georgia fan, but they kind of play with that style. I really want to pick them in this game, but I'm going to have to go with Oregon in this game, Shane. It's at Oregon. I think Oregon plays its best football at the beginning of the year. They're an explosive offense. They play really fast. This is going to be a very contrasting style of play. Michigan State's going to come out and try to pound and run the ball. Oregon's going to play with speed, up-tempo. I got Oregon in this game. I think it's going to be very close, but I'm going to go with the Ducks.
Not so fast.
Oh, okay.
Oregon, they don't really show up in big games, in my opinion, the past couple of years, and I think Michigan State's going to control the line of scrimmage, and I think they win this game by 7.
Wow. They're going to win at 7 on the road against Oregon.
On the road in Eugene, Oregon. They're going to win it. The Ducks don't show up.
You heard it here, guys. Grooms has got Oregon. Shane has got Michigan State.
Go Spartans. Now number 4th ranked Oklahoma. They'll be at Tulsa.
You know, I think this is going to be a little bit closer game than the spread. I think Oklahoma will definitely win this game. I think Tulsa will give them a fight, though. I've watched Tulsa over the last few years. They're a formidable opponent, and they offensively they score some points. So I think it's going to be a closer game. I think Oklahoma wins by 2 touchdowns.
I think Oklahoma wins by 21, and I think just because for Oklahoma the past couple of years, at the beginning of the year, they just continuously get better as the year goes on. Offensively, I don't know about defensively, but I think their offense will be clicking on all 4 cylinders, and I think they win this game by 21. Now the number 5th ranked Auburn, they will be hosting San Jose State.
This is going to be a blowout, Shane. Auburn had an interesting game last week. I thought that Arkansas gave them problems in the first half, especially running the ball. It was a tale of 2 halves. I think Auburn put up points in both halves, but defensively, Auburn really struggled in the first half, came out in the second half and dominated. I think Auburn comes out and wins this game by at least 5 touchdowns. I think 35 points. I don't think this is going to be close at all. It's going to be interesting to see how Malzahn plays these 2 quarterbacks. They're both very talented. They have skill sets in different ways. Johnson kid throws the ball well. I think he really slings it. The Marshall kid adds an element of the run game, and that they have to respect the option. So I see this as a win for Auburn.
I do too. I think Auburn wins this one big. I got them winning